for the Mass of Christ. We call it Christmas because it's the Mass, the service, the adoration, the worship, which we give to Jesus at his birth. Can I hear somebody say amen? So I thank God I am a witness to the coming of Christ into the world. We're going to look into some few things at this Christmas, and I want us to focus into some few things. I'm going to pray for you, and there are things I want you to understand about Christmas. Now, when we're talking about Christmas, we're talking about somebody that came into the world. His birth is unique. His coming is unspeakable. Is full of love and full of glory. So our coming here today is to celebrate his birth. Amen. Though Jesus never asked us anywhere in the Bible to celebrate his birth. But there were people who were even unbelievers who came to worship him. They came to have mass and service at the season of his birth. So we see that as something we should imitate. What Jesus asked us in the Bible to celebrate really is his death. He came to die. His coming is important. The Bible tells us in the book of Proverbs that the end of a thing is always better than the beginning. So he asks us in the Bible to celebrate and honor his death. So we are here to imitate and to follow the example of some things I'm going to mention to celebrate his birth. You know, when somebody is born into the world, there is always jubilation. Is it not true? So I want to talk shortly about the mysteries of Christ's birth. Mysteries that follow his coming into the world. Now, I will tell us about 5 things. You can write them down. Number 1, the prophetic declaration about his birth. Prophetic declaration about his birth. Now, Isaiah declared his incarnation, that God is going to be born into the world, and his name shall be called Emmanuel. That is, God is with us. So Isaiah saw that. So there is incarnation declaration by Isaiah in Isaiah 7:14. Isaiah talked about that. Very important. Then number 2 is Isaiah also declared his titles, the names he shall be called. In Isaiah 9:6, he told her that a child will be born. He told her that a son will be given. Then he began to talk about his government as his entitlement, the names that follow him in his kingdom, in his government. Then in verse 7, he told us about the extent of his kingdom. It has no end. So his government has no end. And he is coming back again to take over the throne of his father David. So his kingdom has no end. Then another prophet gave us the prophetic declaration about him. Who was that? Prophet Micah. Micah told us about the place, location of his birth. Micah chapter 5 and verse number 2 told us that he's going to be born in Bethlehem. Bethlehem in Judah. So he gave us the exact location where he's going to be born. So these are prophetic, that a child is going to be born. That is God incarnate. They gave us his title, his government. These are prophetic. Then they told us the location of his birth. These are prophetic. So there are people that were mentioned in the Bible before they were born. They talk about them. Jesus is the ultimate of them all. John the Baptist was also mentioned that he's going to be born. Josiah was also mentioned. So we must know that there are some people that God has told, declared by prophets or by prophecy, that these people are going to be born. So Jesus did not just accidentally came into the world. He came because God even declared it in Genesis chapter, the beginning of Genesis, in chapter number 3, in verse number 15. God declared that he's going to bring the seed of the woman to come and fight our battle. Why? Because when the devil deceived man, caused man to disobey, God retaliated and said, I'm going to bring a warrior into the world that is going to defeat the devil. And that is who we call the last Adam. The first Adam was defeated in the Garden of Eden. So God now said, I'm going to send the last Adam that is going to mess up this devil. And that is why God declared, even in Adam, in Genesis, he said, now we put enmity between thee, he's talking to the devil, and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. The seed of the woman is talking about Jesus coming from Mary or coming from Israel, the woman. The woman represents either Mary or Israel. He said, he shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So bruising the heel of Jesus was his death on the cross. And Jesus bruised the head of the devil at his resurrection. So these are all prophetic. Then we go to number 2, divinely conceived. I told you I'm going to tell you 5 things about Jesus' mystery.